Almost there.
Here's the frequency in use.
All right, this is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey. My name is Paul. Net control for the net. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? All right, we usually say it, but we're going to say it anyway. If you have any emergency traffic or you have an emergency, call 911. And if you can't do that, or if you can do that and you still want to hang out with us, you can while you're waiting. And you can break at any time for that. That may be information on the net. You can see us on the YouTube right now. One for the YouTube, which is either under my call, K4PEW, or under the word Brain Trusts, BRAINTRUSTS. It's one word. Or you can look us up on let's see, we're going to look it up under the regular website, 146.415.net, 146.415.net. That's our little website. Or Groups.io under MJSS. That's groups.indiaoscar, and you can just look up MJSS. That'll get you onto the email site. And last but not least, you can contact me at my call, Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey at ARRL.net. And we normally meet at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday night for about 5 and something years, 5 years and 3 months, 4 months, or something like that. Purpose of the net is to support and train ham radio operators to have fun. Because so many nets are not fun. They have very little to do with having fun. They have to do with just checking in and giving a net control number or something. But anyway, we just like to have a little fun, be a little casual here. Announcements for tonight, since this is Saturday night coming up, we've got Tuesday night. There's a Simplex net from Bowling Green on 146.430 at 7:30. There's also I believe it's at 8 p.m. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't write it down here. For the WEMA, the Wilson County Emergency Management Office, so holds a repeater net on the Watertown repeater, WLYR, W4LYR repeater, and it moves from there. And again, I don't have it in front of me anymore. Does anybody want to fill me in on that?
7:30 and 7:45.
It starts at 7:30?
Yeah, we changed it. It starts at 7:30, and then the other part is at 7:45.
Aha! All righty, so it coincides with the other Simplex net, so you can actually check into the other one, the Bowling Green net, a little early if you want to. I know that for personal. So anyway, okay, so it starts at 7:30, and that's and it's on the WLYR repeater where it starts. Is that correct?
Correct.
All righty, now we know that. And let's see, what else do we have? Not much. We're going to be heading into the new year, and Wednesday, of course, will be the first, and we'll also have our net here on Wednesday night, which I believe is going to be the first. Yeah, Wednesday's the first. So don't fail to miss the first net of the new year. Does anybody have want to add to that, subtract from it, or give me any other data on it? Well, nothing heard. Jeff, I appreciate you jumping in there. This tonight will be our 549th net, and tonight we're starting from the south. Unless somebody's got the objection. Yeah. Hang on one second. Just drop my notebook.
Break.
Yes, break. Go ahead.
Well, I'd like to check in early. I'm Wes. This is KB90CD Mobile. Getting ready to go to work.
Ah, very good. We'll take you in there, Doug. KB9 OCD. All right. Got it. You got to get to work, though, tonight, huh?
Yes, sir. Yep. I'm just going to do a little bitty one. I'm just going to Memphis and back. And the personal here is Greg.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gave you the wrong first name, didn't I, Greg?
That's all right. We'll let it go. Knowing it's you, we'll just let it ride.
Oh, yeah. You got to, I work with a handicap,
It's a big challenge, but we'll work with it. I hope you had a great holiday.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate us. I hope you did, too. And have a good night at work. And a safe one.
Have a good results on your net here tonight. 73 is all. KB9 KB90CD down by Centennial Park and John Tune Airport. We're clear.
Ah, very good. That was Greg, and he is Mobile on his way to work. Want to do an early check-in, so that's great. And we are going again to start from south. Then, who is south first? Please come down.
KE4TYJ.
KE4TYJ. Jim, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Paul, and everything's well over here. It's a beautiful last couple of days, and had the motorcycle out, and just had to work and took the motorcycle out. So it was overall a great day.
Yeah, except tomorrow, I don't think you're taking the motorcycle out.
No, I don't think so.
No, did it rain at all today down there?
We was in Murfreesboro coming back, and I got some sprinkled on them when we left Murfreesboro, and it was pretty much as we got closer to Woodbury, we just kind of ran right out of it. So it's still overcast, but it wasn't raining that hard on us.
No, just a little light, really a light rain or a sprinkle here for a little while. It wasn't anything really significant, but I guess tomorrow's gonna be a little different. So the weather service tells me.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I looked at the forecast, and tomorrow's gonna probably be a wash, but it's gonna be sunny and 52 come Monday.
Yeah. What kind of a winter is this anyway?
That's motorcycling winter.
So you must have requested this.
I try every year.
Yeah, very good. You can move to Florida and you can get it almost year round. So you got to put up with Florida.
Yeah, but the roads down there is not as much fun to ride as up here. I mean, this is almost like the motorcycling mecca of the world. At least for me, it is.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it was just not a whole lot of hills, not a whole lot of winding roads, no mountains except for Space Mountain.
Yeah, Florida is the flattest state in the union. Illinois is the second, and that was given to me by the Aerial America series on PBS. I was watching that, and that was pretty interesting. And Florida is the flattest state in the U.S., and Illinois follows as the second.
For some reason, I would have guessed I've never been there, but I like Iowa. I always thought it was flat, but I guess not.
It may be flat, but not the flattest.
All righty, sounds good. Well, anyway, that was Jim, and he is in Woodbury. Looking forward to more better weather for his motorcycling here in the great state of Tennessee. That's Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet, and again in Woodbury. Anybody else south?
W4BS, 4AZ.
Hey, Tim, hold on one sec. We got Ed and Eddie here from Gladeville. What's up, Eddie? It's good to see you this morning.
Yeah, had quite a few at the breakfast this morning. Had a good time. Hope everybody had a good day. And turn it back to you, Paul.
All righty, glad to have you in there. Glad to have your breakfast this morning. And Tim, you're up next. And that was Eddie, by the way, in Gladeville. Kilo W4 Echo Bravo X-ray. Tim, what's up?
Not much, Mr. Paul. How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. I was, for whatever reason, I didn't do that much work today, and I'm still tired. And I kind of napped before the net, so I woke up about 15 minutes ago. So I feel pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I guess naps are good, but sometimes I feel worse after I take one. I've been a big napper, but the older I get, they're seeming like they might be a little bit more better for the old bod, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, I know that as I grow older, I look forward to those. I never thought they were important until I got late 60s, and here I am at 7.
Well, we got to do what we got to do, I guess. But anyway, I've been out and I've been enjoying this weather. I wish I could hang with something like this all the time. As far as standing a little warmer, but the day was nice. So especially for getting ready to turn over to a new year, latter part of December. But all good things must come to an end. It'll get cold again. Anyway, my friend, say 7-3 to you. Say hello to everybody on the net. I'll turn it back over to you. So they're lining up. So have a good one, Paul. KR4AZ clear.
All right, that was Tim in Murfreesboro, Kilo Romeo 4 Alpha Zulu. Yeah, it's hard to imagine it's this nice this time of year, but it may get worse. I don't know. Near future doesn't look worse, but let's hope that winter actually comes so we can it kills all the grubs and the moles and whatever else is eating up my yard. Anyway, that was Tim, Kilo Romeo 4 Alpha Zulu in Murfreesboro. Who else we got, Sal?
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
Sierra Yankee Victor. Boy, I was surprised you missed today's breakfast. You must have been busy.
Oh yeah, I had one of them family things, but I usually come on the second Saturday.
Yeah, well, no, we're always glad to have you, as you know. No, it was pretty nice. There was about, I think, either 11 or 12. I forget now what it was, but no matter who shows up, it's a good time.
Oh yeah, I always have a good crowd. I wish we could all get there at one time.
Yeah. Well, then we'd have a lot of people. We'd have 30 or so, of the regulars anyway. I mean, there's other people who check in irregularly, but it doesn't make them irregular. Well, very good, Larry. Good to have you in there. That's Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor, and he is in Rockville. Who else, Sal?
Kilo November 4 Charlie Quebec. Preston irregular check-in.
It's all right. You know us. We don't have any rules, Preston.
Well, that's a good thing. Evening to you, Paul.
Yeah, good evening. Good to hear from you, Preston. I know I've talked to you since. Where we were. I think we went over. You caught me on DMR, not DMR, but Fusion the other day, wasn't it?
I very well could have been. I can't remember. Seemed like I was in the pickup, and I don't have Fusion in the pickup, but could have been here too. So I don't know exactly where it was.
Yeah, wherever you need to be, and just tell me where your wife thinks you were, and that's where I'll have met you.
That's a good deal. Sounds good to me. Well, good evening to you, Paul. And it's good to talk to you, sir. We'll let you get on with the net. KN4CCQ.
Yeah, very good. That's Preston, Kilo November 4, Charlie, Quebec. And he is in, let's see, I remember where it's been so long, I forgot. He's in Possum Trot, right?
That is correct. You got a great memory.
Well, it ought to be. I've said it enough times, you think I'd remember. I just have to keep them all straight, that's all. All right, very good. Preston and Possum Trot, Kilo November 4, Charlie, Quebec. Good signal as always. Who else we got? South, please come in.
Kilo Mike 4, Lima Hotel Golf.
Kilo Mike 4, Lima Hotel Golf. How you doing tonight?
Very good, sir. Very good. Just put a Carolina window up in the trees today to go with the 2 verticals that I put up a few months ago. And so far it's working great.
Which you see you put up which Wyndham did you put up? Is it Carolina Wyndham or is it some other derivation of that?
Well, I'm not sure. Some people get real purist when you talk about Carolina Wyndham. I think that's what it is. It's an off-center fed dipole. It's about 135 feet long. It's got about a 22-foot radiator coming off of the ballon in the middle with a current choke on the outside of that. So it has a vertical radiator in addition to the horizontal one. So far it works great. Made a whole bunch of contacts on Canada today. They were having contests. Thank you, Paul.
Cool. Yeah, Brian, I'm pretty sure that would be considered what they call a new Carolina Wyndham. It has a vertical radiator that below it that actually is, in other words, your feed line comes up to like a 1-to-1 ballon and then goes up to a 4-to-1 up at the off center feed point.
Yes, that's right. The vertical part takes some of the common mode currents and chokes it right there, and then that way it radiates. So that allows it to be resonant on a few other bands.
Yep, I'm with you. I just moved mine outside. I'm gonna have to give it a try this week and see how it works out. I had it in the attic and I haven't used it, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I was using it for digital stuff once in a while, but yeah, it's kind of neat to have this one. Mine is the smaller one. I built it. It's I think it's 66 feet long, maybe. And same deal though. Has the vertical radiator and the 2 ballons, and yeah, it works well though, and it doesn't need a tuner on several of the bands.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I got it. I don't have a lot of alternatives for antennas here, so I wanted to have something that can give me the most bang for the buck, so to speak. But anyway, nice chatting with you again, Paul. I just want to let you get on with the rest of your net there. But
Thanks very much, and Happy New Year to you and to everybody else.
Yeah, very good, Brian. That's Kilo, excuse me, Kilo Mike 4 Lima Hotel Golf. Candy while I'm on the air. And there's Brian, and he's in Murfreesboro as well. Just put up a new Carolina window, which is, if you look that one up under New Carolina window, you know exactly. It's an off-center fed dipole that has two ballons on it. There's both a vertical radiator and the horizontal off-center fed. Anyway, who else south? Please come in.
KN4PQX.
KN4PQPQX. I'm pretty sure that's Joey.
Can confirm.
Yeah, very good. It was nice to finally meet you in person anyway today. I'm glad you could come to the breakfast.
I was definitely glad I could come too. It's really fun. It was good to finally meet you and everyone else in person. It's kind of weird putting faces and names, but it was nice to meet you guys.
No, it's just so I had no preconceived notions about. Some people have no preconceived notions, but others I've talked to for a long time, and then when I finally meet them, I go, it can't possibly be them because it doesn't look like what I think they look like.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. But I think we're all good. No one looks too crazy.
I noticed you put the qualifier "too" in there. Too crazy. Yeah, so you got to be a little crazy to be on the air. I think exposing your foibles to the at least the local world.
I can definitely agree with that.
All right, well, very good, Joey. It's good to have you in there. And again, good to have you at the breakfast. Joey, you're going to where? Middle Tennessee?
Lipscomb University.
Yeah, I had you confused with another Lipscomb University. Is that going well? I forgot to ask you this morning.
Yeah, we're going good. Wrapped up the first semester. The second one is going to start here on the 6th, and then it'll be off into 3 more years of school. Well, at least 3 more.
Yeah, well, if you go to school all summer, see, then you can actually cut it a little shorter.
This is true. Well, I am going to be going to school all summer, but it's only because I'm behind because I didn't take calculus first semester.
Don't take calculus in the summer.
I'm taking it next semester, but I'm taking Calc 2 over the summer.
Yeah, because the concentrated courses are killer if you're not good at it. You know, I mean, if you don't feel comfortable with it to begin with, you know, when you get a 4-week, what is it, 5 weeks maybe? What do they do those courses there at Lipscomb?
I honestly have no idea, but I might not actually take it at Lipscomb because it'll be really expensive. But either way, it will be a pain in the butt. You're right.
Well, I did that too. I took statistics. I said, man, I got to get this out of the way. I always hated statistics, so I took statistics, and that was a mistake to take it in the summer.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would be a bit of an issue.
Okay, very good, Joey. Good to have you in there. That's Kilo November 4 Papa Quebec X-ray. He lives just about 5 miles south of me there in near Percy Priest Lake, right near Robin. Who else south? Please come on. Nobody else south. Moving to the east, please come now.
WA4ZHI.
I missed you this morning too there, James. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Nice staying inside for a while.
Oh, yeah, everything all right with the family? You weren't there this morning. It was like an empty chair.
Oh, we had errands to run in different directions.
Well, that comes before a breakfast with us bums.
My wife took off one direction, I took off another.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it was a good day to do it, though. It was a beautiful day.
Say again? I missed that.
I say it was a good day to do it because it was a beautiful day.
Yeah, nothing falling on me much.
Yeah, it could be worse. It could be really cold or really rainy or cold and rainy, and it was neither of those today. It was just a little sprinkles. Well, very good. That was James, Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India. He's right here in Mount Juliet, right in the middle of it pretty much. If there is such a thing as a middle, I'm not sure where it would be. Mount Juliet has a strange shape to it. Who else? East, please come on.
Kilo India 4 and 4 LXH.
Hold on, James, Jimmy. I think I heard Richard in there first. KI4SIB, Richard in West 11. How you doing, Richard?
I'm good. Enjoyed breakfast and glad we got to see everybody and look forward to doing it again. And that's all I got. Y'all have a good night and send the threes to everybody. KI4SIB back to net.
It's the only restaurant I've ever been in. Or to say, really, the cups have been cleaned. They're just stained inside.
Yeah, well, those cups that they use when you beat the bottom of them with a spoon, like some of them guys do in that place, kind of scars them up, I guess.
No, they actually had those, they got a dishwasher that apparently doesn't get out some of those coffee stains on the inside.
Well, boom.
Anyway, no big thing. I mean, I drank out of the same coffee cup for like 3 years in the Navy, so I think I can put up with the ones I got there.
I understand.
Well, very good. Anything else for the net, Richard? It's good to have you in there this morning.
No, I'm just sitting here looking up some stuff to put a dipole together. I'm trying to get in my head how long it needs to be and a bunch of other stuff.
What is that? Are you trying to do it for 10 meters or something bigger?
HF altogether. I'm trying to cover at least 4 or 5 bands, 80, 60. I don't care anything about 160, but just anything after that.
Well, look up that off-center fed dipole. That's a pretty good bet. I mean, Brian was just talking about that. It's really a nice. It's not, it's like any of the dipoles that is trying to achieve the multiple bands. They all seem to have compromises, obviously. Like a G5RB is a compromise as well. But the off-center, if you look up that new Carolina Wyndham, and you can buy them on, you can buy them from all the stores too. You don't have to make it. But I didn't believe it. I built it, and it said, well, you're not going to have to, have a tuner on, forget which bands they said now. I said, yeah, right. I put it up, and I did not need a tuner on those bands. I couldn't believe it. It was like a magic.
Well, I might give that a shot then. A Carolina Wyndham.
That's a new Carolina Wyndham. You'll see. New. Just look up new Carolina Wyndham on the web. And the guy's name who talks about it there on the his name is Carlson, I believe is the last name. But you can look up the new Carolina Wyndham I think on any of the people that sell wire antennas.
Good enough, thank you. I'll look it up here in a few minutes. Take care of yourself. TI4SIB.
All right, and again, it was Richard Kilo, India 4, Sierra India Bravo. He is in just west of Lebanon. I think I had Jimmy in there next.
Hey, Mr. Paul, this is Ken for LHH. How's it going over there?
It's going really good. I didn't break nothing today. I didn't destroy nothing. I didn't lose nothing. So it must be a good day.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm still pulling my hair out on this DMR radio, but I've got several problems I got to work through.
If you have figured out how to program it without any help, you're a good man.
Well, BridgeCon does put out some videos which help out, but I find most of these videos are a little bit too fast paced for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I saw those same videos, and they seem to be helpful, but it's still, if I try to do it myself without looking at the videos, I go, what does that mean again? All those silly little, elements that you have to stick in there that don't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I called the guy at DX Engineering there in Ohio because I was getting frustrated with it a couple of days ago and was almost ready to send it back for a return from Amazon. And I called him up and asked him, is D-Star any better? He says, well, no, not really. So at that point, I decided, well, I can't return it.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know what's better or worse. I don't think it's a question of better. I'm guessing that it depends on what you want to do. And I think they both have similar qualities from what I can understand. D-Star, I think, is a little more expensive to buy.
Well, I know the Kenwood D74, which I think is probably the premier D-Star radio, probably is about $200 more than my DMR BridgeCom.
That's a dual band BridgeCom?
Yeah, it's UHF and VHF.
Yeah, I have one, but it's just a UHF. And also, I got it from a friend of mine out west. He didn't want it anymore. I don't remember what the deal was, but I haven't found much. I use it, like I think I told you, I use it for crossband repeat because I'll take the 70 centimeter output of that and crossband it into like on 2 meters and vice versa when I'm, if I'm away from the Radio Shack here. So it kind of makes it nice. But other than that, I just don't see a whole lot of benefit.
Well, I read an article on DMR and
and D-Star. And I thought, well, maybe this is something I want to get into, but I never had any idea it was going to be this complicated.
That's right. I think that's why they call what we're doing Simplex.
Yeah, that's a good name for it. Any rate, I won't hold you any longer. This is Ken for LXX. Back to you.
Yeah, very good, Jimmy. Good to have you in there. That's KN for Lima, Kilo November for Lima X-Ray Hotel. He's here in Mount Juliet as well, just north of the Mount Juliet High School. Who else? East, please come down.
Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu.
So you must be saving yourself for just the nets, because I haven't heard you on the air recently. Earl.
See, I've been kind of, enjoying the holidays and being out of the house. And once I got in the house, it's kind of like mess here, there, and everywhere. So I've been, working on getting ready for the out with the old and in with the new. And daggone, might be able to see different parts of my floor I ain't seen in a while.
Don't remind me. I got the same thing. My shack, it goes through various stages of just complete disorganization.
Yeah, same here. I went through one little pile of archives I got had over here in the other room. It wound up becoming 3 piles. So it was kind of like, well, now what? Well, so I went in there and got a couple boxes in my other room and taped them up and marked them for those 3 files. One's just trash, and one's to go through later, and one's for VA files and things like that. So at least making stuff. Anyway.
Oh, very good, Earl. One of these days we're going to have to go down and get you to bed early on a Friday night so you can come into the breakfast on Saturday morning.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, and whatnot. So, getting ready for that new year of vision. So, daggone, I might not be perfect, but I'll be as close to it as I can get if there's such thing. Okay.
Oh yeah. Now, well, we don't have any requirements to show up on the net or show up at the breakfast or show up on the air during the day. We don't have any rules. Just hopefully just a nice casual good time. And I'm glad you have you in there, Earl. That was Earl Kilo Echo 4 Bravo. Delta Echo Zulu. Can't read my own writing again. Delta Echo Zulu. And that's Earl, and he's over there in Noreen, just east of Cedars of Lebanon Park. With a good signal tonight too. Who else east? Please come in.
Okay, I'm sorry, Kitty.
When are you going to make another breakfast there, Stan?
I don't know, Paul. I never can get up in time on the weekends anymore.
Well, it's not a short trip, and it is a little bit of something to get over here from anywhere if you don't live in the immediate Mount Juliet vicinity. Although Saturday mornings are pretty easy traffic, really. That's the best part about Saturdays.
Yeah, roger that. It usually takes me 20, 30 minutes to get there, depending on traffic.
Oh, I know. Well, anyway, we would love to have you, but again, no rules. Everything else going well for you?
Going pretty well, I guess. How about you?
I don't know. If I got any better, let's see. If I got any better, I'd have a lot more money. That's what I'd have.
Yeah, I guess we all would.
That's right. I'd be spending way too much money on radios and antennas and maybe a bigger piece of property.
Yeah, spend some on new radios too.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like the sage here on the net told me one time. He said, the guy on the other end can't tell what kind of radio you're using.
This is true, Paul. Well, I'll hook you up back to that. Okay, I'm 483.
Yeah, very good. That was Stan, Kilo Mike 4 Hotel Quebec Echo. He's in Lebanon as well. Got a big Lebanite. That sounds like a good name. From north of downtown Lebanon. Who else east, please come on.
Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo Whiskey Charlie.
Hello, Jeff. You sound good tonight.
Thank you. Lebanese.
You like the Lebanese better than Lebanite?
Yes, somebody used to call me, you're from Lebanese.
Yeah. No, it's a neat name for a city. It really is. Lebanon. There's several Lebanons, as you know. Lebanon, Pennsylvania, and I don't know where the other ones are, but I know there's more than a couple.
That's true.
So you and your wife doing well?
Yeah, we do it.
Survived Christmas?
Survived.
Yeah, I know the deal. Um, let's see. We're going to ask you something else, but I forget. Oh, again, it was 7:30 for the W4EAO net, correct? 7:30s on Tuesdays, correct?
Correct.
So yeah, I was confused for some reason. What was it before? Was it not 8:30?
It was.
Okay, that's what confused me. When it changed, I had it stuck in my mind that it was an 8 o'clock start time. But obviously, my memory is not serving me well.
You're doing good. You're doing very good. Don't knock it.
All right, very good. Yeah, appreciate the lies. No, I appreciate the kind words. All right, Jeff, good to have you in there. That was Jeff, Whiskey Delta 4, Whiskey Delta 4, BWC. Is it not correct? BWC?
Yeah, that's it. PWC.
Yeah, it was funny. I didn't write down the whole call, and I said, "Huh, his call isn't BW." All right, anyway, it was Whiskey Delta 4, Bravo Whiskey Charlie, and that's Jeff. He's also in Lebanon. Is another Lebanese or Lebanite in the singular, I guess. I guess that's what it is. No, I don't know what it is. I don't know what Lebanon people call themselves. Who else? East. Anybody else east? Up to the north of Mount Juliet. Please come in.
WB0NO.
It was good to see you in there today too, Mark, up at the breakfast.
Yeah, it was good to see everybody this morning. Had a good breakfast. Dirty coffee cup. That's about normal, I guess.
I decided I'm going to start taking my own.
That'd be a good idea. I think I will too. She tried to convince me that it was just stain, but who knows?
Well, I didn't. You didn't. I don't think you were there when I sat down when I first got there. The one cup still had food debris on it. I set it aside.
Yeah, I had to pick my fork wisely.
Well, Frank is in the business of a commercial dishwashers. As far as like international service for big commercial dishwasher guys. And he took a look at it and says, obviously, they're not using a good dishwasher.
Yeah. They only pay him $2 an hour.
Well, I don't know. I think, I don't know what the requirements are in Tennessee. I wouldn't have any knowledge of that, what they have for, for if they have to use a commercial dishwasher or they do it by hand, or, I have no idea what the rules are.
I don't know either. I know my daughter's restaurant, they wash the dishes, then they put them in a machine. So, they basically do them twice.
Well, I know when I was in the military and I got stuck with the really high level job because they saw about the intellect and the workmanship, and they put me in what the Navy, I think, still calls the scullery, because back in the old wooden ship days, the scullery is where they washed out all the skulls that were made into bowls. That's why they call it the scullery. But anyway, I had to hand wash, brush off all the food, clean up all the food, rinse it out, and then we stuck it in the trays, and then it went through a dishwasher to the tune. It was a steam heated basin, for the dish machine. It was a Vulcan was the brand name, for those of you familiar with that stuff. And that being around that machine was like being in a sauna, because it was just, I swear it was 200 degrees. It probably wasn't, but I think it was probably about 175 or 180 or something. But man, was it a stinky hot job, and it ate your hands up too.
Yep. Dishpan hands. All righty, Paul. Well, have a good evening. Happy New Year. If I don't talk to you again, and we'll maybe catch you next year. WB0NO.
Yeah, very good. That was Mark, Whiskey Bravo 0, November, Oscar. He's up by the National Weather Service station up there in North Wilson County. Nice area too. I like it up there. We've only been up there 3 times, but it is pretty. It's prettier up there. It's kind of hilly, kind of neat. Anyway, who else? North.
November 4, Victor Tango India.
Boy, we missed you this morning, but everybody was saying, hey, where's Charlie?
I was actually in Kentucky this morning visiting family.
It's an excellent excuse, but we're going to need a signed note from your parents.
call sign. I changed it up on you. You're gonna hit me. It's November for Victor Tango India. I don't know if I told you that or not. I think this is the first time checking in with the new call sign.
It is. I heard you on the air a few days ago. I think you were talking to Michael about the change, and I was busy doing something else, but I didn't hear about. I would have forgotten about it, but yeah, very good. I think I like it better. It's a nice call sign.
Yeah, I do like it better. It's not like the standard one that the computer shot out. It's a little bit different, but I like it a lot. It's shorter for HF2. I like it.
No, it's just a good call. It's got a nice sound to it. Well, everything else going well for you during the holidays there, Charlie? Did you get anything you wanted for? Well, let's put it this way: did you get any ham stuff for Christmas?
Yeah, I got an Anytone DMR, and I have a friend in Australia that I talked to on Echolink, and he sent me some parts, and I'm going to build up a hotspot and get on DMR.
Aha! Yeah, because I know they sell a hotspot. He's got a kit for you.
Yeah, he's just sending it's an interface for Pi-Star as well as the little UHF antenna and a couple other parts. And I have a Raspberry Pi Zero that I'm going to build a hotspot with.
Ah, okay, great. Yeah, I'll have to look at that. I'm sure they're available in other ways. Are they for it? And that does. When you say that Pi, what'd you call that? Pi-Star?
Yeah.
And that's for what? I mean, that's on the Raspberry Pi, but what does that do for you besides aside from the DMR stuff?
Well, it's just an interface for Raspberry Pis. I don't know too much about it, but it's just an interface for using DMR. Well, that's what I'm going to use it for. I don't think it's exclusive to amateur radio uses, but yeah. I don't really know much about it. He's an expert on it. But DMR, it might be fun. I'm not sure. I've heard a lot of people say that it's fun until it gets old, but I'll give it a spin.
Well, if you get a bunch of friends that are overseas on DMR, you can certainly chat with them easily on that DMR, either on, like through your own computer or over the air to somebody's DMR repeater that's connected to the internet. So you got a couple of ways to do that, as you know.
Yeah, well, it can be tricky to program them too.
Yeah, I know you must not have heard me earlier. One of the fellas, Jimmy, over here in Mount Juliet, just south of you, as a matter of fact, over there by the high school, he's got one, and it's like he and I both agree they're not easy to program.
I heard you, yeah, and it's difficult.
Yeah, very good. I'm glad you got. Well, I'm glad you were out visiting your relatives up in Kentucky. But it's good to have you here tonight, Charlie. That's November 4. It's a new call, so jot it down. It's going to be important. November 4, Victor Tango India, and it's Charlie, our youngest participant at 13. When are you going to be 14, Charlie?
July 30th.
Ah, so you're still a good almost 7 months away. Well, it is 7 months away. What am I saying? Youngest participant, and it's November 4, Victor Tango India. Charlie, he's also in the north end of Mount Juliet here. Good to have you in there, Charlie, and hope you can make the next breakfast. Who else north?
KB9 RKK.
Yeah, I just decided earlier I'm going to bring my own coffee cup.
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah. I was stuck in that job in boot camp, but yeah. And then I end up working with those things.
Well, it's better to be working with them than doing it for 3 meals a day for 300 guys like I do.
Oh, that's definitely. I mean, the newer ones are a lot more efficient. When they get old, and especially the steam heated ones, you're exactly right. When the thermostats don't work on it, the water starts boiling in there. But you're pretty darn close. The wash tank should have to be by law at 160 to 174. 150 to or 150 if they got more than one, and the final rinse is going to be 180 to 194 is the max, because if you get hotter it evaporates. But I don't even think they're using soap. But as far as what you were asking before, you just need a 3-compartment sink to get by, but then you have to sanitize chemically. You have to use you have to dip everything in sanitizer.
And that's the middle section of a 3-part sink, you mean?
It's the last section. You wash, rinse, and sanitize. But it's usually used to get by when the machine is broken. And I don't know if they actually have a machine there. And if they do, most of those places use what they call a low temperature machine. That's more common than a high temp.
But and it uses chlorine or iodine. Well, most people don't use iodine. Chlorine usually it has to be so many parts per million, and it depends on the machine. But high temperatures is actually less chemicals, better for the environment. But anyway, I don't think they're using anything over there.
Well, I know that the guys who had to carry the metal trays, the metal trays, I don't know what they use these days, but when I was in there was those metal like prison trays. Well, I don't think even in prison they use metal trays. The metal trays we had, the guys who carried the trays from the dish machine out back to the serving line, they had to wear gloves because those trays you couldn't pick them up with your hands.
No, they have to. The plates and trays have to hit 160 minimum surface temperature. So you use the hot water to do that. But the detergent is mandatory by law. The rinse additive, which is a drying agent, helps get all that white. Like if you look at the silverware at a restaurant, it could be clean, but it could have spotting on it. Now that could be soap, but it could just be water spots. But that rinse agent does, that's what helps with that stuff.
Right. Usually that's what, calcium chloride?
Usually, yeah, calcium or potassium. Those two things are what everybody calls hard water. But you also have total dissolved solids, which is anything that's a solid that's dissolved. They don't call it hardness, but it can still leave spots.
Yeah, the dish machine we had when I worked at the hospital, I was managing the central plant at the hospital. We put in a softener exclusively for the kitchen dish machine.
Yeah, and you gotta. Yeah, I learned not to be Mr. Water Quality Expert without being the water quality expert, because if you put a softener, just what they call a water softener, on a situation that actually has high alkaline or high alkalinity, it actually can make the water corrosive, and it'll leak through stainless steel. And if I wouldn't have seen it myself, I wouldn't have believed it.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Well, one of the reasons we did that is because that dish machine that they had was electric heaters, and that was not good. Regular water, hard water, was not good for the electric basin heaters.
It's not good for anything. It's hot. Even steam pipes don't like it, but steam's obviously more resilient. It's faster, and on a ship, if you were doing anything on a ship, well, what's the whole thing run off of? Steam. So that just makes common sense to run it off of that. But yeah, most of the time it's electric, and you're right. And it's what makes your coffee start to taste bad. When the heater in that sucker gets all lined up with calcium, it starts to change the taste. Time for a new machine.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Anyway, yeah, I've had some experience, and your experience is much more vast than mine is. Mine's limited to a couple of locations and just understanding some of the concepts there. Let's see. Well, Frank, it was good to have you in there. That was Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo Kilo. He is in northwest Wilson County. I guess it's still Mount Juliet. Good to have you in there, Frank. It was good to see you this morning. Who else north?
WE40.
You're going to get to one of those breakfasts. You know that.
Yeah, that's the theory anyway.
Well, like you said, to get from Hendersonville to Mount Juliet is harder than for me to get to Nashville.
Oh, you're exactly correct. There's a lot of places I can get to faster than I can get to Mount Juliet. Somebody went and put a stupid lake in the way.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to resolve that, but I don't think they're ever going to, and Hendersonville wouldn't let them in.
Well, I'm afraid that genie's out of its bottle. I mean, it's so built up over here. There's not a whole lot of places you could literally land a bridge, without making a real mess. I suppose if you went up northeast between Hendersonville and Gallatin, you might be able to find a spot that's still open enough that you could park one. But then you have the challenge of where to park it on the Mount Juliet side, and you don't want to pick the widest part of the lake for obvious reasons. So the opportunities are pretty slim. I can't imagine that it would ever change.
No, it's probably better that way anyway, because it leaves Hendersonville without all that additional quick traffic going north out of Mount Juliet. And it's good for Mount Juliet because then it would divert a lot of traffic that goes over to 109 or over to Briley that would go straight through Mount Juliet, which would really stink.
Oh yeah, it would just make a mess. residential areas on both sides of the lake right there would just be a calamity right around in there. So I just can't imagine anybody's going to do it. Yeah, it would be real convenient. Made a couple trips to Mount Juliet to go see Charlie and everything, and he is 2.1 miles from me as the crow flies, and it takes about 45 minutes to drive.
Yeah. By the way, since it's such a bad idea and a bad plan, they'll probably do it.
Well, exactly. And they'll land it over here at like Saunders Ferry Park and send all that traffic up Saunders Ferry Road, and they'll land it over there in Mount Juliet at I don't know, Saundersville Road or something like that. Yeah, they'll do something stupid.
They probably will. That's just, it's not going to be funny if they do it either. It really won't be. I say we need a bridge, but we really don't need a bridge.
Exactly. There are times it would be really, really convenient, and the rest of the time it would be a real pain in the butt.
Well, one of the things it's not a big deal, but I'm on that, I belong to Barnes and Noble's whatever book, whatever. I get all their stuff and I buy stuff from them, and I buy the Nook book, electronic books, and they send me things. Say, well, we're having an event at the Barnes and Noble, but the closest one to me is in Hendersonville. I said, I'm sorry, I ain't going.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to go that bad.
Well, if I was up there, yes, I would, but it's just unless I was going up there for another reason. I'm not going to go there to look at a new book review or something or whatever they got going on. It's just funny because I can't believe there's not a Barnes and Noble on this side of the river.
I don't know where the closest one is, actually. I know we've got one up here at the Streets of Indian Lake, which they keep talking about going out of business, but it's still there.
Yeah, I think they're struggling against the Amazons and the Books A Million and whoever else is selling books these days.
Well, exactly. There's a lot of competition in that space, and I mean, Amazon owns a lot of it right now, just because. And I got to admit, I use them a lot. There's a frightening number of things that you can actually order off Amazon and get them anywhere from 2 hours to 2 days. Yeah,
they're the new Sears catalog. I wonder if you're going to be able to buy houses and house kits like you used to be able to do on Sears. That was before my time, of course, but you could buy a whole house on a kit form from Sears back in the early part of the 20th century.
They buy a lot of stuff like that. My daughter, rode Hunter's Jumpers English Saddle. That was one of the facilities where she rode down in Franklin. The barn is a Sears and Roebuck barn, and it was brought on railroad cars and then conveyed over to the building, built about 1940, I think. It's a spectacular piece of architecture. It's hard to believe that it's a kit, but yeah, it showed up on a railroad car.
Huh. That's cool. Well, just to put it in perspective now, the Empire State Building, when they brought in the materials for that, many of the materials came on, with horse and wagons.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine building those skyscrapers back in those days. When you consider the state of the industrial revolution and all the mechanized equipment it would have taken to lift that stuff up there, it's crazy.
Yeah, considering they did it in about a year to put the structure up.
Oh yeah, I don't remember the exact timeline, but yeah, there was a big skyscraper race at the time. So that was put up in a big hurry. I've been up to the top of it. It's a fascinating building.
Oh yeah, I have as well. Yeah, I've been up a couple of times actually. Twice in 70 years. It's a lot. Anyway, Danny, it was good to have you in it. It's Whiskey Echo 4 Echo. He's in Hendersonville. Great signal, but again, it's that deal where he's all of 3 or 4 miles from me, and but by car it's 40 minutes. All right, who else? Anybody else north?
KJ4GMR, KJ4HNV.
Hey, how you doing there, Ray and Zoe? Doing all right?
Yeah, I'm almost kept that 24-hour bug. I went down Cockrell Walk, eat supper with my brothers. Pretty neat. I got to enjoy that again.
Got to enjoy what now?
Went down to the Cockrell Walk down there on Briley Parkway, and right there behind Camping World, and eat supper with my brothers.
Oh, I've never been there. What do they mostly have there?
Anything and everything.
Oh, just a regular big restaurant?
Oh yeah. They have fried pickles. Yeah, fried pickles.
pickles. Yeah, I know. Every time I hear things like that, I've heard of those before, but every time you hear something say like fried ice cream, that was another one. I was like, yeah, who thought of that?
Yeah, I didn't eat none of them, but them brothers of mine sure gobbling them up.
No, I think I've had them. They're very good. Were they coated in something?
Oh no, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, you obviously if you didn't want them, you didn't eat them. Well, very good. How's Zoe doing? She said she's got the little bit of the flu, or one of the 24-hour bugs.
Yeah, she just got that bug.
Yeah, I don't want any. I want none of it. Can't stand it. Those kind of things. Whether it's intestinal or respiratory, they all stink.
You got that right. Anyway, y'all have a good one. If I don't get to talk to you before New Year's, Happy New Year's. And Earl, good to hear you in here too. And anyway, I get out of here and be quiet. KJ4 Jim.
Yeah, very good. We had Ray and Zoe, KJ4 Golf Mike Romeo, and KJ4 Hotel November Victor, both in Cottontown. Of course, they're married in Cottontown. That's why they're both in Cottontown. Who else north? Nobody else north? Over to the west then.
KN4 TJF.
Well, you got a good strong signal tonight there, Richard. I mean, yeah, Rick.
Well, thank you, Paul. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been a good day. When you started out with a breakfast with friends, it's always a good day.
It was indeed, but now you've all got me a little paranoid. I'm bringing my own cup next time.
Well, I'm going to bring my own stained cup.
There you go. I got a couple of them myself. But you're talking about the scullery. I know exactly what you're talking about. And the most nasty, vile smell in the world. I had to work there in duty week for a whole week one time, including doing KP as well. So I hated those days.
I did 3 months in the scullery. I think it was actually, and I got it out on work release.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. We had like what they call a service week is what it was. So different departments would get to call you in for a week and help them do their job. Obviously, we didn't have that luxury because not anybody parked aircraft, but so we didn't get to pick people. We just had to go do stuff.
I got you. Well, it's you guys. No, really, we got stuck with mess cook for 3 weeks straight. I mean, 3 months straight, and it was nice, really, because I didn't have to stand any watches. I didn't have to do any other work. I normally, for some reason, I think we did 2 meals. I forget what we did now. We did, but anyway, it was easier than standing watches and working out on deck all day.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, those watches, 4 hours, and you hit them twice a day. It got pretty tough. You get stuck in a conflag where you just sit there and watch for fire for 4 hours at a little old, it's like a 3 by 6 inch window.
Yeah. I was going to tell you about this, my big scullery issue, and I still laugh. We, the guys used to come down, and they brought down the pots and pans, the big pots and pans, the big bowls, those huge ones, that stick with the, you mix stuff in. I forget what they call those, but they'd come down from the kitchen. They come down from another deck, and they're hauling this stuff down. They're supposed to clean out the slop, whatever was in there, before they gave them to us. And we got tired of them bringing in the slop. So they brought down this big container, big, and it still had a whole bunch of mashed potatoes in it. So me and my buddy, his name was Rick as well. His name was Rick Silverman. And we scooped up mashed potatoes in both our hands. And then they had to make several trips with all the pots and pans. So when they came through the hatch, which was only 5-6 feet away from it, with pots and pans in their hands, we hit them with the mashed potatoes. We had a mashed potato fight. And then they came back in retribution, throwing stuff at us, but they had additional mashed potatoes. And we had the whole scullery was covered with mashed potatoes. Some of it actually literally hit the fan on the wall, and that made it more of a mess. And then we just had to clean it all up. It was all, what we're going to do. But it was funny. But then I had to take my test, a written test for E3 to make E3. And I had to take that in officers' quarters. So I went to officers' quarters. And I was sitting there taking the test, and it's as clear as it was as it is to me if it was yesterday. I was sitting there, and I had felt something itching, and I reached up, and I had to scrape mashed potatoes out of my ears.
That is hilarious. That's just memories right there, man. Now I also had visions of Animal House with the food fight, but yeah, we've engaged in some of that activity on the old carrier, and wow, those were some days.
Yeah, my wife won't let me do that here.
Yeah, mine either. She frowns on that activity, so no food fights in the house.
Yeah, it was just funny. When we left to our own, there was nobody else paying attention to us, and they didn't really care because we had to clean it up anyway. All right, anyway, that was Rick, KN4TJF. That's Kilo November 4 Tango Juliet Foxtrot. Rick is a little bit younger than me, and he served on the aircraft carrier of the USS Coral Sea. And he was on the Coral Sea after he got on the Coral Sea after I got out of the Navy about a year or two. But we served with the Coral Sea in a combat situation in Vietnam. So he got to serve on the carrier I served with. He served on the carrier we served with. And then we served behind too, and they'd taken on, landing and taking off jets. So it's kind of cool. I learned a lot about that stuff. Anyway, who else we got west?
N4DJT.
N4DJT. How you doing, Don?
Oh, kind of hanging out like a hanger and a biscuit. I didn't get any antennas or coax swapped out on this antenna because, well, it looked like it was going to be good, and by the time I got all situated, rain came again. I'm like, well, that kind of put a wet blanket literally over everything. So I hammered in ground rods around the VHF tower to pass the time, and got two of them in, and a third one started. Monday, I'll knock the rest of it out.
Where'd you get your ground rods? Did you use the copper coated ones?
Yeah, stick them up with loads, copper coated. It's fine. I'm putting 4 around a tower, each tower, and then they'll all be bonded together with big gauge wire, and then copper straps for the legs to the ground rod zone.
Yeah, it's funny when we talk about that stuff, bonding and doing the housing, et cetera. When we put wiring in swimming pools, that was one of the critical issues, was having everything bonded together all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they did when they put my pool in. They had a big ground loop perimeter all the way around the pool, and everything is tied back to their own ground rods, which I technically could tie into. I probably will when I do the perimeter ground around the house, but for now, I'm just getting the towers and the shack done, and I got weather-tight boxes full of lightning arresters got them off the wall. And, that'll probably be later. I'm just going to get the lightning arresters mounted on the ground rods for now, and then it'll get me until the weather changes. I'm trying to beat the weather. We've been lucky so far with the temperature-wise, but the rain-wise hasn't been cooperating. I know I don't want to get caught hanging when all of a sudden, boom, the temperature goes to the high of 32 degrees today, and it'll be like that until March.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll do that or not, but just be glad the ground doesn't freeze solid here.
Yeah, exactly. So I get it done. Monday and Tuesday are looking like good days. I'm off, so and then Wednesday all I'm doing is making ham and bean soup. So Wednesday I'll have Wednesday to do it too. So I should be able to make a pretty good dent in the stuff. At least at a minimum, get this antenna fixed. So I get the home damage coax out, move it onto the tower, and then hopefully it packs him up. We'll give it a try.
What all do you put? Do you use white beans or navy beans in the ham and bean soup?
Oh yeah. Great northern beans, but yeah, white beans. And I make a giant 6-gallon pot of it. I'll take all the bones, and I always have lots of ham left over from Christmas because I just buy a big one, and then throw in the rest of the good stuff. And we'll boil that bone down for the broth, and I usually have to split the broth up because it's really, really rich when you boil that whole bone down for about 6-7 hours.
Oh yeah. You put anything else in it besides obviously I've used some salt, but what else? Put anything else in it?
Yeah, I'll throw carrots and celery in there, and about a pound of bacon.
Pound of bacon. Are you trying to sweeten that pot up, huh?
Yeah. I had some other seasoning stuff to it too. I had rolling around, parsley sage or rosemary maybe, and that's just flavor to my taste. I have the recipe just in my head, right? I just do it. I just close my eyes and it's done.
Oh, I got you. That sounds good though. You haven't had some of that good stuff in a long time.
Yeah, it's a New Year's tradition for me, and I'll make some bread with it, and we're good to go. I actually have to go up and get some butter. I go to this place up in Charlotte, like a Mennonite market, and they have some really good churned butter up there.
They churn their own butter, I take it.
Yeah, I think they do. It's just a blobby like brick of butter wrapped in cellophane, but it's really good. So I gotta get some of that for the bread. So I'll probably make a trip up there, maybe Tuesday, maybe Monday afternoon before it gets too late.
You know, that stuff tastes good, but it's really bad for you in big quantities.
Yeah, everything's bad for you. You gotta die of something.
Yeah, I know it. That's what I eat it. Don't believe me. I don't refuse any of that stuff. I didn't get to this size by not eating. You know. Anyway, that was Don. November 4, Delta Juliet Tango. Sounds like our resident chef here, and he's in Bon Aqua. Yeah, man, I'd love to get some of that bean and ham soup. Man, that's some good stuff. You ever throw garlic in there?
I do. If the mood strikes me, I'll throw some garlic in there. Usually I'll take like a half a clove and just roast it in the oven. Get a little bit of a char on it, and then throw it in there. It goes pretty good with the bacon.
Oh yeah, no, garlic, and when it's not overdone, isn't overpowering at all. A lot of people would shy away from that, but it just adds another sense of flavor, and it stays pretty good. Anyway, that was Don, November 4, Delta Juliet Tango. By the way, we are going to the 2-meter sideband net after we a little bit after this anyway, on the sideband on 144 240. I just want to remember to tell everybody. Forgot to tell everybody that. Who else? West?
KM4YRS.
Are you sleeping, man? You're supposed to come in either before or after your brother.
Don was too fast for me.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, it was good to see you at the breakfast this morning too.
Well, I'm glad you got to see me at the breakfast.
Yeah, it was your pleasure.
It was.
Yeah, it was good to have you and Rick there. Yeah, it was a good crowd. Hey, did you see that? You know what? I'm embarrassed to say. Did you see the guy come in late with the leather jacket on?
Yeah.
Who is that?
I swear I can't remember. I cannot. He said his name, but I can't remember it.
Oh, great. That's two of us. The reason I didn't catch his name today, but I know I've met him before, and I'm pretty sure he's part of the Nashville club, and that's where I met him.
Yeah, he's been to the breakfast more than once.
Huh. Well, now I'm really embarrassed. Maybe I was there. I think I only missed one breakfast. It was the second one a couple of years ago. I forgot about it. Slept right through it. Now that's funny who that was. It irritates me that I don't know. I was embarrassed to ask him because we got along just fine. Both hands, but anyway, it was nice to have him regardless.
Yeah, I bet Robin will know who he is.
Oh, that's right. Robin was there when he was there. Oh, fantastic. All right, very good. That was Michael Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot, and he is in Bellshire with a great signal as always. Hey, by the way, did you see that link to those antennas for the X700s that are named with the Harvest name on them?
I did not.
$200, and it looks like it has identical specifications and identical values.
And where was that at?
They're selling them on Amazon.
I'll have to look that up.
Look up Harvest ham radio antennas or something like that. It's on a link on the email. You should have gotten an email through the email group.
I haven't even checked email today.
Well, they have the X700. They've got one marked the X510, the X3, whatever that number is, 300 or whatever it is, 310, and almost it looks like every diamond. I didn't go through the whole routine, but they've got all those diamond antennas. They've got if you look on, I believe on their site on Amazon, they seem to have a whole bunch of stuff. I never saw them before, ever. And again, the X700 with shipping, I think was about $215 or something like that.
I'll definitely have to check that out. I've got a question for you. Which number net did you say that this was tonight? Because I'm showing 548.
It is 548. I wrote it down wrong.
Okay, just trying to keep you straight.
Yeah, well, 547, 548, whatever it takes.
I got you. Charlie's signal was 20 overdrive. He was really booming.
Oh, cool. He should be happy to hear that. Is that not? You've seen him lower than that in the past?
Yeah, a time or two, but he was really had a good signal tonight.
Huh. Yeah, we've had some pretty good conditions recently. I don't know why, but must be because we're holding our mouths right on the mic or something.
Well, I reckon that's all I've got, Paul. Back to that.
All right, that was Michael Kilo, Mike 4 Yankee, Romeo Foxtrot in Belshire. Who else, West?
WY4G, Alpha Whiskey Echo.
Yeah, hold on, John. We got the master of doing nothing this week, Jeff up in Madison, Whiskey Yankee 4 Foxtrot. How you doing, Jeff?
Okay, I'm doing fine. I did go work my part-time job today, so doing nothing this week's over. But anyway, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. In fact, it's in some ways you look forward to going back to work, don't you? I hope.
Yeah, in a way, now when it gets time for me to retire, I don't know what I'll do. I'll find something else, like another job or something.
Well, yeah, that's right. You can't hang out on the radio all day, but you can certainly do other things. And there's all kinds of hobbies out there besides this.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll get a place to set my reloader back up and start reloading again, burning some powder. But, that's in the future, I guess.
Well, it's not too far down the road. Don't push the issue, though, because like my dad did that. He said that I told him about that, how long I had to retire him, and this is when he died, 19 years ago. And he said, don't rush it along, man. It goes fast enough as it is.
That's true. I don't want to do it too early because I may regret it. But, I'll just take one day at a time. I have plenty of time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Anyway, just enjoy being productive while you can, and I hope that your retirement is healthy, wealthy, and wise,
I intend for it to be that, but, if it keeps going like it is, I should break even.
Oh, yeah. Well, I hope so, too. I'm like for me, I'm, after retirement, I'm independently poor.
I'll probably wind up being that way pretty quick, but, I said I'm not going to rush into anything, so I've got time to fiddle around, I guess.
Yep. I was going to ask you something else there. And how long you been on?
Let's see. Total of 33 years.
Oh, you've been there for 33 years. How long did you have off this time period, though?
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. It's just 1 week.
Yeah, it's 1 week plus the weekends, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, boy, that's a nice vacation, really. I don't think I've ever taken off longer than maybe 2 weeks in a stretch, maybe.
I tried that. I did take 2 weeks at once. When it came to the second week, I was ready to go back. So it just kind of, I won't take 2 weeks together again. I just kind of space them out.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. You give me 2 weeks off, and I can't find I have to have a map to get back to work.
Not only that, you kind of don't really want to go back, but you're anxious to get back because you're tired of doing nothing, or what you already planned to do, you did, and you just kind of sit around and just wonder what you can do next.
Well, yeah, it's not like you're going off to a desert island and living in a tropical paradise and just enjoying yourself for 2 weeks straight, whatever you wanted to do. But sitting at home isn't much different than sitting home on a weekend,
Yeah, and then listen to the XYL, you kind of like wondering, what you can do to get away. What can you do to, occupy your time to get away from it.
Yep, I'm with you. Well, very good, Jeff. Yeah, those because actually work can be fun. I mean, it's something we cringe about it. We get tired of it, but it makes us productive, and it's something to. I mean, that's what we're built for, is to be productive, not to sit around and vegetate every day. And you do a great service, I'm sure, too. After 33 years there in the bus, so obviously you do a good job.
Yeah, I put up with it. Just learn how to let things kind of roll off my back, or just
just ignore it, tolerate the best I can. It does build, you got to have patience with it. It does build tolerance. So it's just part of it, I guess. WY4G.
Well, I think it says something about a person's character that they can accommodate that without letting it affect them in other ways. Because like you say, when you're dealing with the general public, and whether they be troublesome or obnoxious or, just surly or, abusive, you can't even let it bother you one whit.
Because it would just make everything miserable. I got a few stories to tell you. I cannot tell them on the air, but there's just some of these gotcha moments where see, it's like karma coming back and biting. So it's I see a lot of interesting things.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Well, very good, Jeff. That was Jeff, Whiskey Yankee 4 Golf, and he is up in Madison. Great signal, and going back to work this next week. I'm sure he'll feel pretty good about it, actually, especially with the nice weather. All right, John, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? Jeff, sorry about that. I just didn't hear you at first.
Oh, yeah, you weren't a problem. It's just it happened to be a simple double. It wasn't any big deal. We really shouldn't apologize for doubles, because if you knew you were doubling, you wouldn't do it in the first place.
That's right. It's hard to listen when you've got the button down.
You figure. I've heard somebody else say, I don't remember anybody I know saying it, but somebody who started a net, and the net manager said, and please don't double. You think, well, I wouldn't if I knew the other guy was there, but I don't know that.
Yeah, exactly. How was your day?
Oh, it was great. I did some productive things out with the antennas and messing around in the yard and doing some errands. But other than that, it was just a nice, easy day, really. And it's just too nice out, really. It's bad when I go outside, do light work. I come in, I would move to shorts, no less. And I come in here, and because the air conditioner's not on, which it wouldn't be in this kind of weather, but I had to sit and turn on the fan to cool off.
Yeah, I mean, I've got windows open. I'm looking at the outdoor thermometer, and it's showing 63. Of course, it'll cool down when that big front moves in here later tonight.
Well, I can't wait, really. I'm just built for cold weather. I mean, that's just my psyche does that. I don't know whether maybe it's the Russian, Polish, German, Lithuanian, Latvian, Estonian blood in me.
Yeah, plus, you grew up in one of the coldest parts of America.
Oh, yeah. No, when you grow up in a cold climate, I think it makes a difference. I tolerate the cold weather better than I do the hot weather. It's an odd thing about me. I noticed it again today, and it's annoying, really. I had just a regular, like a polo shirt on. I got some gym shorts on, and I had white socks on with my, whatever you call them, loafers, moccasins, whatever you call them, deck shoes. And if I'm sitting in the living room watching television, which I was with my wife, my feet feel like they're sitting next to not a furnace, but they feel like there's a heater on. I have to take my shoes and socks off because it feels too warm if I can leave socks and shoes on. It's a really silly thing.
Yeah, I mean, that really is true. I found it very noticeable, and that's why I like keeping sandals and Crocs around.
No, exactly. I don't mind having, unless it's really cold floors, that's a different thing. But normally, like right now, I'm sitting here with no shoes or socks on. I'm just comfortable as the day is long.
Yeah, we do adapt so much to almost anything. I mean, I remember spending, a lot of my childhood not even knowing anyone who had air conditioning. And when we finally got one, boy, that was a shock.
Yeah, where did you grow up?
Here in humid Nashville.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that would have been tough. I mean, because it was funny because in Florida, where I lived for so long, the temperature never got over 100. In Nashville, we'll spend several days in the 90s and hundreds many summers. And that's brutal without air conditioning. Just brutal.
Yeah, it's really different, because terrain-wise, Nashville really is like a cereal bowl, and there's not a lot of moving air, but hot down on the coastal areas, like in the Gulf, at least you've got ocean breeze.
Oh, yeah, no, it was tolerable. The issue there wasn't just I mean, the average summer temperature, I forget what it is now, like where I lived in Tampa, but the average summer temperature was like 87, July, August, July, August, September. And it never got over 100. And it almost never sat up in the mid 90s for long periods of time. It was very short. It would be up at 95 and it would right back in the evening, it would drop down to 72 again, which was very common. Most evenings were 70, 72 degrees. And you can live, obviously, people lived in Florida way before there was air conditioning. But here, it would be much more troublesome.
But, it's like our house had several window fans, and I remember once my father put in an attic-mounted whole house fan, and then you leave the windows open, it was actually really comfortable, especially at night.
Yeah, but again, it's one of those things that if you weren't used to it, it would be a little troubling to you. But you're used to it and you grow up. It's like me when I grew up in a cold climate. In the house, my parents kept the house about, sometimes in the winter, it'd be at 55, it'd be 60 degrees in the house. And that's, for most people, that's uncomfortable. But for me, it was normal.
Yeah, and that rhythmic mix of summer crickets and window fan noise is actually something that's you almost miss sometimes. It's better than an artificial digital white noise generator putting you to sleep.
Oh yeah, no, that's no joke. When you're living, particularly when I lived out on the farm, it was, the windows are open and you can hear all you can hear the animals and you can hear the crickets, particularly at night. And it was just something that it was like a comfortable background noise.
Yeah, it was a day and age of, I guess, what we would call analog cooling.
Yeah, well, it was like where I lived, though. There were days that people liked to have air conditioning, but it was like my mother said. She goes, "There's really only about 1 week a year that anybody really needed, or it felt better with air conditioning. The rest of this summers were pretty comfortable because the routine day there in the summer was 75 degrees."
Yeah, I remember my mom telling me that was the big attraction of movie theaters back in the Depression and during World War II, is that those were the first air-conditioned public spaces that would attract people to go to the movies.
Oh, yeah. I did some work in a couple of theaters in Florida. And the Tampa Theater, which was similar to the other old theaters of that era in other cities in the South. But I've seen pictures. They used to pack them in, every weekend. The shows were packed, and Friday nights. And of course, it was air conditioning. And I saw the old air conditioner was still in place. And they had actually, I forget what year it was in the 20s. I want to say 1928. But the one that they got, they actually shipped it in from Germany.
Really? Were they using big old water chiller towers?
Oh, yeah. Well, in this case, I believe that one was a reciprocating refrigeration, so what you call a DX system, and not like not like in not like in radio, but there was a direct expansion system that had each of the air handlers had their own expansion valve, and you were pumping refrigerant, you're pumping refrigerant around the building.
Yeah, that was actually pretty sophisticated for its time.
Oh yeah, no, there's been other systems like that, but that was it's clunky and leaks, and it might have even been, I'm guessing it was an ammonia system.
Yeah, it probably was ammonia.
Yeah, there was only a few choices then. We didn't have the common refrigerants, but they had sulfur dioxide, they had ammonia. I'm not sure what the other ones were. I don't recall. But anyway, yeah, the advent of air conditioning made the South grow, and it made it prosper, and it made it beat the heck out of the people up in New York and Michigan.
Yeah, and I guess it finally made it tolerable for all you Yankees to come down
here. Yeah, the Yankees that did come to the South, it was always in the winter.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. But no, people saw the value of what was in the South. They really did. It wasn't just an issue of the heat. I mean, the South the entire South. I've been in every southern state, and the southern states have a particular charm to them and a particular beauty, and the people, like I said, said it before, but the people tend to be friendlier, they tend to be nicer, they tend to be more polite, and it's just a neat place to live. And that's why, while I would enjoy much colder weather, I'd hate to miss what I have here.
Yeah, having traveled a lot, the the two places that stand out, reminding me so much of the South, and the reasons are obvious. It's like in the Mediterranean coastal areas, especially Greece and southern Italy, and then Ireland, of course.
Oh, wow, yeah. Never been those places either. Been a lot of other places, but not. I'd love to go to Europe and Mediterranean. That's one of my, I guess it's a goal to go over there. But anyway, John, it was good having you on the net. I'm going to have to get you over to a breakfast one of these days, but you're another one that's got a 30 or 40-minute drive coming over from Bellevue.
I will make it, though.
No pressure. We just like to see everybody. That's all. We got no rules here, except for the FCC rules and the gentlemanly rules. All right, that's Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. He's over in Bellevue, Bellevue, and that's John. Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. Anybody else, Wes? Any late check-ins?
KN4 MPV.
Hey, how come you're not working?
Oh, I don't work on Saturday night.
No, I was just talking to Greg. Greg checked in early, and he was on his way to work.
Yeah, he runs a different shift.
I got you. Well, yeah, I guess if he starts, must be starting about the same time. No, he actually starts later than you would then, right?
Well, he runs extra board. He doesn't run a bid.
Oh, yeah, because he said he was going to Memphis tonight.
Yeah, he goes to different spots and stuff. Just runs the board.
Yeah, boy. I think that's got to be one of the craziest industries on the planet. You know that.
Yep, I know it. Yeah, very well. And I was just going to tell you, that you can't fool anybody, Paul. I know you're probably sitting there picking your toenails and sitting in your underwear there because you turned the camera to just the radio for that reason, right?
Yeah, I can sit here in my BVDs.
I just had to tell you that. But I've been thinking that about half the net here. I came in about halfway. And but anyway, sorry I didn't make the breakfast this morning. I had intended to make it this morning since I was off, but we had some relatives that visited, and we had visited some too. So we was kind of busy today, but we was planning on coming.
Oh, yeah. Well, I really don't have to say that kin are more important, and your friends are more important than us silly old hams.
Yeah, well, I don't know about all that, but anyway, I mean, everybody's important, but just that's kind of the reason. But maybe I can make the next one, even though I'll be working. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, I hope everybody had a good time, and I'm sure they did the way you talked there, and everybody had a good Christmas holiday and a safe one and everything. I did want to bring up Dale KE4, I think, or KA4 ZDR. I don't know why I don't have it here, but can't think of it. But Dale over in Columbia, he's still in the hospital over there, and we need to keep him in our prayers and thoughts. Hope the best for him over there. And I think you probably talked to him before.
I have, but it's been a while. Yeah, what kind of problems he have?
He's got some. They hooked him up to dialysis, and he's been having a lot of fluid, and he's actually been on a ventilator, and I think they're going to have to put a trach in after a while here, and I don't know. He's just got a lot of problems going on.
Yeah, none of that sounds fun, does it?
No, sure doesn't. And we hope the best for him. He's an awful good guy. He does their net over there, and he's a webmaster for the Murray County Amateur Radio Club, and he's also a webmaster for the Before Breakfast Club, and just a great guy. Just super guy and a good ham.
Yeah, I got you. There's a lot of good men in ham radio. Lots and lots. It's cool. A lot of good people, I should say. That should exclude women. Yep, sorry to hear about that. And then, yeah, we want to keep in mind Dale, Kilo Alpha 4 Zulu Delta Romeo, who's apparently, well, he is in the hospital with some fairly serious problems. So let's hope those get resolved.
Yep. And you do a good job too, Claire Paul. So keep up the good work, and I know you will. And we're proud of you. And everybody have a good rest of the weekend there. 73 to everybody.
Man, I can't believe it. Yeah, but thank you. And it's funny. I just looked up the clock and I realized it's 24 minutes after 9. We started at 8. I'm pretty sure. I can't believe it went this long. All right. Anybody else before we close on that? Late check-ins anymore?
KB4RSM.
Hey, you were just making the wire here, aren't you?
Yeah, just got in, so I was surprised actually, like you just said, that it was still going, but got in right at the last second. How are you doing today, Paul?
I'm doing good. You didn't, you asked for that help, and I sent a thing in. I left you messages, and I didn't get a reply. So I guess you did all right.
Yeah, had a few people. We got that thing from the freight company to the house, unloaded it off the trailer, got it into the backyard, and I got the thing vertical today. So, been having some fun. I heard you say that you preferred the colder weather, and I've been loving this summer-like weather and getting to work a little bit outside. Although it did get a little bit of rain today and yesterday that wasn't expected, but not bad. Sun came out, got really comfortable. Been working outside, so I've got the tower vertical, and it's about to come to the fun part where I actually start building and putting antennas on it, running coax, that kind of thing. I've got to get the rotor mounted, but the part where I wondered if this was all ever going to come together and actually work, the hard parts of it and getting it here now behind me. So I'm kind of excited about that, and that's about it for me.
Yeah. Again, remind me, how big is that tower when it's fully extended?
It's 3 25-foot sections, and so with the mast that sticks out the top of it, it basically comes to about 75 feet. The tower itself, of course, overlaps each section about 4 feet. So the tower itself, even though it's 3 25-foot sections, doesn't get to 75 feet, but including the mast that sticks out the top, which is, I think, what I currently have, which is some aluminum hollow bar that's going to stick out the top of that thing, is about 11 feet of pipe. So, which 4 feet of that's inside the tower. But anyway, roughly around 75 feet.
Yeah, you should rent out some of that space to other hand.
Well, that's I'm open for that. But yeah, we got it vertical, and I've messed with running it up and down a little bit, checking it out, figuring out how it works and how the cables are run and how the brake works so that it can't just come back down under its own load, and just it's been interesting. And so there you go. It's up and ready for me to basically get busy with it. So I think that's going to be my project over probably like the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, that'll be I think that's the fun part, the grunt work and getting concrete and getting the thing installed in the ground. And I think that's the biggest project you got going there. But that'll be great. That'll be great. I'm excited for you. That's a big tower, really. It'd be 70 foot at the base of the base of the top of it. Anyway, you gonna mount anything on the side? Can you mount stuff on the sides of the top section?
Not really. You could right near the top, since it doesn't actually recess down fully into the other sections unless you want it to. But but I think not actually. I have been thinking about near the top of it, going ahead and putting my weather station that's deep in the backyard, so that it's up there and I can tell what the wind's doing up at height at that thing. And then just for the fun of it, one of my wireless cameras here, I might just stick up there just for the high vantage point to see what that's about, and just for the fun of it. And if I do that, they will be mounted off brackets right off the side of near the top of the thing. So you can, but not like you're thinking. I mean, you don't have all that height space to do that. Now, of course, you could mount stuff on the bottom 25-foot section that doesn't move, obviously. But yeah, should be interesting.
Well, your signal's not going to get any better to me with 70 feet because you're already full scale.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't hear everyone that you hear. Been doing pretty good, but there's some that I do not hear. So I'm definitely hoping to improve, especially haven't had for a little while because my 30-foot push-up that I'm using right now, when I had my beams on it for 6 and 2, some high winds actually, bent the thing over somewhat. It didn't come down, but it bent it quite bad. And so I just had it too loaded for that 30-foot push-up. And so right now I've just got those horizontal loops on there and the vertical on top, and it handles that just fine. But I want to get my directional antennas back up. So that's another advantage that I will have.
Oh yeah, no, that's going to be killer with a 70-foot tower. That's going to be you're going to be my other alternate net control.
Well, there you go.
All right. Yeah, very good. Well, anyway, that was Glenn. Glenn is over here in Mount Juliet, over there in near 109 and 40. It's Kilo Bravo 4 Romeo Sierra Mike. Really excited about his plans and his ongoing work getting that 70-foot crank up. Well, I don't think he's cranking it up. It's motorized, right?
Actually, the route I've taken, they shipped it with an adapter for a drill, and there's a certain Milwaukee hole hog, they call it, drill. That's a right angle drill that you put this adapter in, and you can go up to where the crank is and just put it over the shaft. There's a shaft that sticks out that's got 2 flat sides on it. This adapter slides over that, and then you can run that thing up and down with that wireless ginormous right angle drill. And so I practiced with that today, and man, that is super convenient and smooth. And so that's really going to make the going out there and cranking it up or cranking it back down a lot less of a chore and quite convenient. So that was a nice touch also.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't recommend a Harbor Freight drum motor.
I don't know. I mean, I've done a lot of forum reading, and there's a lot of people that have got the Harbor Freight winches and mounted them to the plate on the thing, and there's a lot of people doing a lot of different things. But the common, hey, we know it works, it holds up, it does well, is getting that Milwaukee drill, and so I just opted for that route versus the more of the experimental, and that worked actually quite better than I was expecting it to, and so. Actually taking it up and down is going to be very feasible now, not just something that maybe I only do once a month because it's complex or a big chore, so that I can bring it down when I'm not using it at times, so that A, it's not as much of an eyesore, and B, in case storms or whatnot come up. So, yeah, pretty excited, Paul.
Oh, yeah. Is that a single-speed right angle drum motor from Milwaukee?
No, this particular one is variable speed. So it because you don't run it real fast actually, but the thing has got just a ton of torque, and it had no problem with that thing. I mean, I couldn't even tell it was putting a load on it, so it worked extremely well, and so I think it's going to be a good fit.
Oh yeah, we had when I worked construction back in the Middle Ages. We had an old Miller's Falls. If anybody remembers those motors, they were great. They were like the Milwaukee of the day. It was a right angle. We used it exclusively for drilling large holes with hole saws. 4-inch holes for putting in boxes, metallic boxes in wood structures. And that thing, you had to learn to be careful with it because it only did about 350 or 450 RPM, fixed speed. At right angle, and you kept your face away from you didn't lean into that one. You held on and kind of loosely you pushed the top with one hand and you held onto the trigger with the other, but you kept your arms, your hands, and your face away from the thing, because if you hit a nail, it would jerk you right off of the ground or bust you in the jaw.
Yeah, I've heard stories like that because all that torque, it's just yank you right around the thing. I think they've got with their clutch system and their anti-kickback, whatever that's on this thing, it's supposed to minimize and help that out, from what I understand. But it seems like a pretty darn good, good drill, and it should be for the price. But it does seem built in quality, and of course, just a lot stronger than my little cordless handheld
Yeah, I don't think you can really. From my experience, you can't do better than Milwaukee. If there is one, I'm not aware of it. But yeah, Milwaukee makes a really quality device. Anyway, good to have you in there, Glenn. Again, it was Kilo Bravo 4 Romeo Sierra Mike. He's over here in the southeast corner of Wilson County. Well, actually in Mount Juliet still. But anybody under the late check-ins before we move on?
K1SPD?
Well, you waited all that time, did you, Scott?
Well, it's going a long, long time today.
I'm telling you, I looked up and I was shocked that it was 23 minutes after 9. I wouldn't have guessed that in a minute. I guess I was having such a good time.
You're going to do a swap net?
Yes, I am going to do a swap net. Well, we'll do it right after you if nobody else checks in. How's that, Scott?
I'm waiting. K1SPD?
Yeah, we got Scott, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta, who's eager to jump on the swap net, I think. And that's what we would generically call the swap net, the buy, sell, swap, and swindle net. And he's in Laverne. And do we have any other check-ins before we move on?
One quick thing, Paul, WY4G.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
What was that antenna you said that was on Amazon?
Well, the one I had, which you've got the 510, correct? Or the 310, I forget.
The X300.
Ah, that's it, the X300. Well, they have, I believe, the X300, the X510, and the X, I know they have the X700. And that's on Amazon. And the name on it is Harvest, Harvest. And it uses the same designation as Diamond. And it says on either in that part of the Amazon, they have like a site on Amazon for all their stuff. But they also had, I saw that their antennas were being sold on another website. If you look up Harvest X700, I think you come up with it. It's called Eagles something. I forget what it is now. But anyway, it says specifically that, I mean, the specifications look identical. I don't know if it's an identical, and it says exclusively made in Taiwan. In other words, making a point that they're not made in China. And so I'm guessing that they may be using the same plant that Diamond does.
That's possible. I heard you say something about it, but I didn't catch it all, so I just want to check it out, see if they have. Okay, I'll let you carry on. Thanks again, WY4G.
Yeah, very good, Jeff. Yeah, if anybody's interested, just look up Harvest antennas on Amazon. Any other late check-ins, please come in. All right, quickly said, the lollygaggers, lurkers, sandbaggers, scanner listeners, SDR donglers, preppers, and end-time survivalists. I'm not hearing anybody's, but one more chance. Procrastinators got to check in sometime tomorrow or after midnight if I'm here. All right, the buy, sell, swap, and swindle net. Scott, you got something you want to buy or sell?
Yes, I do. K1SPD. I just recently installed a gap 20-meter vertical, and I really don't need it. My 40 meters covering all the bands I need to cover just as well, and I'd like to go ahead and get rid of that one. You can look up gap 20-meter mono and see all the specs on it, although I have replaced the internal feed line to it because it was a mess. But they sell it new for $130 plus shipping, and I'll let this one go for $90. And it's painted, camouflaged, so it fits in real good in the trees.
Ah, very good. I don't know whoever could hear that. I'm pretty sure he's got a pretty good signal, but he's got a gap 20 meter mono. That's what you can look it up on the web as a gap, GAP, 20 meter mono. It's a vertical. It's $130 list, and it's used, although it's in excellent shape, and it's been camouflaged to fit in with trees, and so nobody gets too upset, and then birds will fly right into it, I guess. Anyway, $90 is what it's going for, and you can reach Scott on his email's on QRZ, right, Scott?
Email is good, and this thing tuned with my external tuner. It tuned 10, 15, 17, and 20 with no problem at all.
Ah, tunes 10, 15, 17, and 20 with the tuner. That's pretty good. So it's more than just a 20 meter mono. Of course, it's a compromise usually when you go to those other bands, but at least it gets you to work in those other areas. And again, so that's Scott. It's K1SPD. If you look him up on QRZ, you'll see his email there. Anybody else got something they want to buy or sell?
Yeah, Paul. November 4, Victor Tango, India.
Yeah, go ahead, Charlie.
I'm looking to buy a relatively cheap TV radio to put on my shack.
Oh man, I'm sure there's somebody here who's got a CB radio they're willing to unload. And everybody hear that? Charlie's looking for a CB radio so he can monitor CB. I guess that's the reason you're looking to maybe communicate with some friends.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be a good idea to have one in the shack. If I ever want to do any emergency communications or anything like that, I just think it would be a good idea to have one.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you. Anyway, that's November for Victor Tango India, and your email is your email is on the list on the thing, but where is it listed on QRZ? Your email address?
Yeah, it's on the mailing list. But you can. It's Charlie Meadows 2006 at iCloud.com, but you can see it on the mailing list.
Okay, very good. Charlie Meadows on the mailing list. Everybody can see that, of course, on the web. Well, let's see if you need his email address. Give me the email address one more time. It's Charlie Meadows, CharlieMeados. What's the rest of it?
CharlieMeadows 2006 at iCloud.com.
Very good. And that was Charlie Meadows, one word there, followed by with no breaks by 2006. So Charlie Meadows 2006 at iCloud.com. That's ICLOUD.com. And that's Charlie N4BTI's email. He's looking for an inexpensive CB, 40 channel CB. Huh. All righty. Anybody else would buy sell? I had the phone ringing there in my ear. Who else? Anybody else got anything you want to buy or sell?
W4AWE.
All righty. Go ahead there, John.
Nothing to buy or sell, but I thought I'd mention, remember the old adage, like those antennas on Amazon, when something sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. And diamond antennas are made in Japan, which is probably one of the reasons for their quality.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I can't say I was. I guess I'm just skeptical when I see that. I look at it with a squint because I'm like, okay, how do you sell a $390 antenna for $200?
Yeah, and Amazon has admitted in some recent press stories that they really have a hard time monitoring all of the Chinese clones and copies that end up on their non-prime listings, which are sort of hard. You really can't tell the difference. They'll pull something when a customer complains, but there's a lot of fake stuff on Amazon.
Oh yeah, but they're not selling these as diamond now, and they're making a point of telling you they're built. Like I said, they built them in Taiwan, and again, you're right. I mean, there's a reason diamond's selling for that price, and I don't think they're, and I don't believe in the word profiteering. If you don't want the darn thing, you don't buy it. But it's hard to imagine they'd want to sell an antenna that somebody could easily duplicate for half the price, like this other person is doing.
Yeah, I mean, I come to it from the same experience that I think you had from having spent money on two lesser antennas, and if I'd had that money, I could have bought 1.5 of the X700s, but I had to learn by my own experience.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you. 100%. It's and you think you're getting away with something, and it sounds silly, but we do that. And the fact is, there's a reason that they're cheaper. There's just a reason. I mean, they don't sell Mercedes for $15,000. This isn't one of those Tempos or whatever those, the little cars. What I'm getting at, and I know everyone on that does. It's just hard to fork over all that good money. But you see, we don't mind spending $1,000 on a radio, but we somehow flinch at spending $300 or $400 on an antenna. So it's kind of a weird thing we get into. All right, very good, John. Appreciate the insights. Anybody else buy, sell, swap, or surrender before we jump over to a very quick 2-meter sideband net? Well, very good. We had a big night. It took a long time here. We were an hour and 44 minutes. We had 29 check-ins, which is not a record, but it's been a while since we've been up that high. And I'm going to jump right over there right now to the 144.240 sideband net. And I would say I'm sorry it took that long for us to get here, but I guess I was having too good a time. I didn't expect it to go this long. All right, I'm going to go over there right now. K4PW. All righty, this is the K4PE. This is K4PEW, the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net on 144.240. Who do we have from the? Where did we start this last time? We started from the south. So if from the south, please come in. All right, very good, Terry. I got you in there. Who else from the south? All right, very good. I got you in there, Scott. Was there a double in there? All right. Anybody else from the south? Over to the east.
KB4RSM.
Boy, what a great, nice, clear signal on you there, Glenn. Who else east? Please come in.
Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu.
Sound pretty good there, Earl. Sounds like it's a good night. Who else east? Up to the north. Please come in.
WE4EK.
All right, I got Frank in there. Kilo Bravo 9 RKK. Who else was that in there?
WE4E.
All righty, I got you in there, Danny. Who else? North? Over to the west of Mount Juliet.
KM4YRS.
All right, Mike, we got you in a good solid copy there. Who else west?
November 4 Delta Juliet Tango.
Yeah, sounds good, Don from Bon Aqua. Who else?
Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo.
All right, very good. Got you in there, John. Everybody's sounding good tonight. It's a nice solid copy on everybody. Who else west? Well, we had a big 10 in there. Is there any late chickens on the sideband portion of the net on 144.240?
Kilo Romeo 4 Alpha Zulu.
Hey, there you are. It took a while to tune back in there, did it?
No, I had it turned off for a while. I said, well, I'm going to catch him, see if I can get on the sideband net.
All right, very good. Well, I think that makes 11 of us in here tonight, which is another pretty good number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's 11 of us. Any other late check-ins? Very good. We really did have a big net on the 2-meter side, and I say I apologize. I was having a good time, and I hope other people were at least mildly entertained by the things they heard tonight. And it was good to have so many people on the sideband, and I appreciate everybody checking in. And let me just run that down real quick. We had Tim Kilo Romeo 4 Alpha Zulu in Murfreesboro. We had Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo over there in Bellevue. November 4 Delta Juliet Tango. He's in Bon Aqua, and Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot Mike in Bell. That's the one in Bellshire. Whiskey Echo 4 Echo Danny in Hendersonville. Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo. He's here in North Wilson County. Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu Earl in over in Noreen. Kilo Bravo 4 Romeo Sierra Mike Greg. Glenn over in southeast, I guess it's Mount Juliet. And Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta in Laverne, and Kilo November 4 Mike Papa Victor in Murfreesboro, and then of course me, Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey here in Mount Juliet. And it was great to have all you guys in there. Look forward to the next one. 10-meter nets coming up on a Wednesday night, and we'll catch you all then. And again, I appreciate everybody being there for the duration. It's an hour and 48 minutes, so that's quite astounding. Anyway, K4PEW closing the net.
Hey, Paul, for what it's worth, you could do with a lot less mic gain.
Okay, let me hold on. Yeah, that's higher than I had it before. I had it down around 30, and right now it's sitting at 50. I'm not sure why I changed it.
Yeah, that's where that radio defaults. I got